Oh, hey, we're live? Cool.
I can believe so.
Come on in. Sit on down.
Old school. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're just assuming we're live and we'll just come right in if we're not.
Here, let's check. Trust but verify. In the words of Ronald Reagan.
So, yeah, this is, we're dialing it back to like a year ago.
Yeah, this is old school. Yeah, we are live.
Yeah.
We are, woo, there. Look at that. Meta. This is old school. What's up?
Hey, how you doing? Happy Monday.
Yes.
So yeah, Ashley couldn't make it today, and we're short in Austin this morning.
Yes,
so we don't have
Austin is en route according to his now text message.
Yeah. So without a production specialist, we got to go hit the button and run
Yeah,
and sit
sometimes
down.
you just got to do it on the fly.
Yeah, it's funny to kind of remember how
dude.
crude some of the inner workings were prior to having.
People,
having labor,
ancillary humans that do a thing.
So with the absence of Ashley and Austin right now, I think we're just going to go back and kind of talk a little bit about the studio and riffing on the weekend.
Yes.
First off, in Plano news, congratulations Amber Glenn for making the Olympics. That's our Plano.
How cool
Olympian
is that?
This year. So
and
cool
Roxy Glenn, Roxy had posted that, so I'm assuming that there's some sort of relation there.
We got to go dig in and figure out like where.
Yes. But that's super cool.
Few degrees of separation, what are 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon
Kevin
type
Bacon.
of thing. Yeah. So anyway, I was listening to a podcast on the drive-in that was talking about podcasts. So I thought it'd be an interesting thing to kind of riff and talk about. The main part of their discussion was how podcasts have been traditionally thought of as an audio format.
Yes.
Right? Long form audio.
100%.
I remember listening to like Serial, like that. Do you remember about the Baltimore murder?
My podcast origin goes back to probably 2006 or 7. Or actually we've been before that, because I was operations manager at Brook Mays in Mesquite. And my office was the warehouse, but it was a desk in the corner. So I could listen to whatever all day long. And this was back in the day of, so I think I was there from 2003 to 2005. So it had been in that window. And back then, there was no such thing as a podcast player or a podcast app. It was literally like you found the internet radio show and then you downloaded the file. And so you would use whatever like Winamp or whatever baked in gimmick you would have.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts didn't exist.
Yeah, that didn't happen until that was years before the iPhone. So none of that baked in infrastructure. Because now, I mean, if you're 11 or whatever, you're handed a phone and it's like, oh, everything just is there. And I used to have, it was the Samsung, and I don't remember what it was called, but I loved it. It was a little gimmick about like half the size of a Hershey bar, and you downloaded to the computer and then offloaded everything with that to that.
Is this like a Samsung version of
like a Zune or like the old school
the iPod?
It would have been iPod adjacent, but no iTunes. So it would have been everything essentially DIY. So you do it yourself inside of Windows. And I've always been ate up with like weird UFO, Bigfoot, or nerdy shit like pro wrestling and comics or whatever. So like the entirety of my consumption was all of that stuff. Like
a conspiracy theorist with a microphone?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
And there were a handful of things that, because back then when I was having a regular job, I could no longer listen to like Coast to Coast AM or whatever overnight. And so I download those. And there's a handful of guys that were doing podcasts back then that still do. And I would just listen to that all day long. Because there was this, one of my favorite ones at the time was Project Serpo. And it was like, so the ending of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where Richard Dreyfuss leaves his family and goes on the UFO, is supposedly based on a true story where Project Serpo was this, so the Roswell crash, whatever, one alien lives, and a bunch of other backstory elements. And we have a treaty, and they come and they get like an away team that goes and lives on this. So as essentially like a foreign exchange student kind of a thing. With the government.
Not like a foreign diplomat. But
no, more like a foreign exchange student where he had like an away party of 20 people or whatever that go. And so this is supposedly the leaked files. And there were a million podcasts that came out about that, because like every so often, it would have been like the flying saucer equivalent of like QAnon. Just some dingbat on the internet.
Is it written like World of Worlds style, where like it's...
No, it's written like, or it's presented like email leaks. Like somebody, we hacked the mail server, or like so-and-so has these emails. And this was also back in the days of BBS, like pre-internet or early internet, before anybody had any kind of broadband, and you were doing everything on a dial-up that, it took like an hour and a half to load a photo. There would be bulletin board systems where you could just, it had a framework like email, but you could go in and it was topics, and it was worldwide, and it was ridiculous, and it was like where everything evil under the sun lived.
Okay.
And if you wanted that, that's where you went. And there's some shit on there that you can't unsee.
Okay.
But all of
That was never my internet experience. I might have come in a little late.
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
that. Yeah, it was like
So-
AOL dial-up. Like, you got mail.
Right. Well,
Like,
that
it was
was
all
the-
very curated for me
Yeah,
at
that was the
point.
public-facing portal, and so most of the, oh my God, it was like you would get one of those discs in the mail like every
Oh
week.
yeah, like 400
Yes.
free hours, 1 billion free hours. Like
Yes.
they didn't care. It was
Yes.
like, just give them
and
the
like
hours.
GeoCities, and it's like every once in a while I do miss and pine for the early days of the internet, but it was the Wild West.
Well, so yeah, what I and to wrangle us back in from Rick's podcast
Yes.
origins, I just thought it was interesting because I was thinking back, like, historically, even just like 5 or 10 years ago, a lot of the podcasts were, you'd consume it on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your preferred,
Yes.
iHeartRadio, whatever it was. But they were predominantly just like long form narratives. They'd be telling a long story, history of England, like a murder mystery, an unsolved mystery,
Yes.
Dan Carlin's hardcore history. There wasn't a lot of there almost was never a video component of that. Nor was it something that you could easily like dice up into things that were digestible.
Yes.
And I think what's happened is those still exist because I still consume a lot of the content, kind of like an audiobook, right?
Yeah.
But what we in the emergence of things like Joe Rogan or what's Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey's podcast? I forget what that's
so
called.
like one of the ones, like, I love Chris Williamson, which is Modern Wisdom. Joe Rogan is excellent, but it's guest dependent. There are some Joe Rogan I like couldn't give a shit about.
Yeah.
And there are other ones where I'm like, oh no. But there are a handful that I listen to religiously, and they usually focus on either some kind of like mindset or improvement or whatever, but it has to be fascinating and has to be authentic.
Yeah.
But originally, like during my origin story era, it was you had to go get them. You had to actually like find somebody that's doing, for whatever reason, because there's no way they monetized any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, somebody was compelled because they're putting on their tinfoil hat or whatever, and they're talking into a microphone in their little broom closet or whatever, and they're posting it on the internet. And they all sounded terrible, and it was like, ooh, this seems like very like pirate radio or very underground, which added a sense of cool. And then I remember early YouTube was just stupid. I mean, early YouTube was a wasteland of just
a hamster dance and
yeah, well, and like whenever you democratize the creativity, well, that lets everybody in, and most stuff sucks. I mean, it's just kind of that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But you had the people that were early adopters just putting stuff out there, and YouTube didn't have the server capacity or the bandwidth to do anything of even like the early Joe Rogan, where it's like them. I don't know if they're in different rooms or they're like sitting on a couch. It just looks like dog shit. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
But the content itself is improving.
Yeah,
But
for
now
sure.
all of those, like exactly what you said, everything converges.
Yeah, to the point where we've got, and that's kind of to touch a little bit on like what we do here, because this is a podcast, and there's plenty of
Yes,
instances like Teresa,
technically.
right? You can listen to the audio only form
Yes.
of Teresa Flood's Upside podcast on all of the major podcast platforms. Like
Yes.
that's something that's definitely doable. But the added value of adding of including a video component allows us to touch other audiences in other ways with other types of media that we historically couldn't, right?
Yes, and everybody consumes media differently.
Sure.
And so for me, I will have something playing. So like in my home office or whatever, I've got 3 computers and the Mac over on the far end. That's just the editing desk. Well, I'll have something going on all of them. And then like the PC in the middle is the business computer that has all the studio stuff. And then there's my personal computer that has like all my comics and movies and whatever else. But there's also I use a different browser for every single app. Basically whatever I'm doing has a different browser. And there's the Chrome that has my personal stuff. Like if I'm at the house and I'm just watching, I don't know, pro wrestling videos or whatever, and just dumb stuff, that's there because I don't want the algorithm here polluting me with like, hey, here's some guys punching each other in the face. Even though I love that.
Yeah.
And then like I'll use Firefox for my what are they trying to feed me? Where it doesn't have a, I'm not signed in, there's no cookies. So it's just like every day I'm curious, like, okay, what's the narrative? What do they want me to see? And so I do that. And then I'll have my work computers that are completely separate, but I never listen to audio unless I'm in the car. And then I killed Spotify because it really pissed me off because you couldn't delete your history and it would always default.
I'm really upset with Spotify too.
Ah, okay. Right on.
Yeah. More so that I am in, and I don't want to get off from what you're doing, but a lot of the algorithms are trying to keep me on platform.
Yep.
And so they like to feed me things that they know I like. And they are lacking creativity in their ability to deliver that. So what I find is it doesn't matter where I reach to, how far away from my desired genre, it wrangle. Yeah. And so we had a game night.
Tool.
Yeah. Friday night we had a bunch of, or a few neighbors over for a game night. We were sitting there playing games and we've got the Sonos system in our house.
Yeah.
So we can control all that from the app, and Spotify is one of the platforms that we like to do it. So we open up Spotify, and what I had thought was that it wasn't connected to anything. It was like your Firefox, right? Like, so like
I'm not signed in.
I'm not signed in. It doesn't know anything about me. Wrong. So at some point we were listening. I forget what Kat put it onto, but it brought it back to like a handful of songs where I was like, there's no way that they're randomly playing this stuff. And she was like, no, there's absolutely. and then it played like a couple like Taylor Swift songs or something that were like clearly like in Kat's like obscure Taylor Swift songs. And she's like, okay, I get it. Like that's not, it's not giving us like any, there's just no way to discover new stuff.
No. And it's so crazy now because the truth is I love the digital world and I love not having physical media, but I'm also like a 90s pirate. So it's like, oh, I still have everything from back then. I have probably 20 terabytes of stuff at the house.
But Ashley was talking last week about the kids are now going back to, they want the physical tangible
which is
stuff.
Adorable.
Well, I think it's kind of the recognition that you don't own anything.
Right.
Like we've been trying, Kat and I have been trying to find like different movies and stuff to watch, and to find one that doesn't have, it's like, oh, it's available here, but you need this upgrade prescription, Hulu plus Paramount plus ESPN connected. It costs $250 to do it, all your subscriptions to get every movie you want.
Speaking of the algorithm there, it's like Amazon Prime used to have a dedicated feature that's free to me. And it was literally like you could see, okay, this is the shit that I've already paid for, you know, by way of subscribing.
But now they dangle it and they'll pull it away.
It's got the little lock in the corner. It's like, oh, I do love Star Trek.
Yeah, $1.99 an episode.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's ridiculous.
And it's like, okay, we're not doing that.
Or I was looking at stuff. I was like, Kat, in my DVD, I've got the binder still. Right, I've got two binders full of DVDs, and I was like, I own this. You know, I forget what we were, No Country for Old Men or some movie, and I was like, we're not gonna pay $4.99. Like, I'll go pull the PlayStation into the bedroom and we'll old school plug this thing in.
I will put in work.
Yeah, I'm not even sure my PlayStation has a CD thing anymore, but like it's the ownership being like, hey, this is mine and you can't take it away from me, because I think what a lot of people are feeling on their streaming platforms is that there's this shell game that's constantly being played.
Well, yeah, and you get used to the idea of, oh, hey, I'm going to do a complete and total. One of the reasons why I actually do pay for the Paramount Plus whatever on Amazon is because when I was putting this place together, I wanted to watch the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in chronological order, and it's like, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to have it running, just so one more time I can absolutely just do the entire show and not care.
Yeah.
You know, and just have it going. And it was like, I don't know, whatever, $7 or $8. And then it's like, oh, wow, turns out Paramount has a bunch of stuff that I actually like.
Yeah.
That will never go away, like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And
you say will never go away.
Yeah, that's true.
But like they sell it off.
That's where I was going, where it was the proprietary. So like Amazon had Star Trek. And then I was like, son of a bitch. I'm like halfway through season 1 and curtain, you know, or rug pull.
Yeah. You go over here. It's now on Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus, right? Or it's on HBO Max.
And they absolutely count on you doing it's only $4.
Yeah.
And you
forget about it.
Yeah, and then forget about it. And then now I lucked out because I went back through and canceled everything, and then UFC has gone to Paramount.
Okay.
So now it's like, oh shit, not that I will watch it the night of, because I'm not giving them 4 hours of my time for 48 minutes of actual punching. I will download it the next day from a place that you shouldn't go, kids at home, or hypothetically, that's what I might do.
Yeah, hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically, I've heard people that do that. It's just like I've been told what.
I don't even know. I don't have like a BitTorrent, LimeWire thing anymore.
Oh my
Like,
God,
I don't even know where to
LimeWire.
go on that. Yeah, like all the Napsters of
Right,
the,
and I remember OG Napster. I remember the first round of Napster and being like, okay, first off, this is awesome, and then like hedonic adaptation. You're like, everybody's bandwidth sucks. This is terrible.
yeah, or my computer won't start now because I downloaded the.
Oh yeah, you had to be
yeah.
wary.
So, anyway, where were we? Podcast.
The video element of
we were talking about
podcasting.
video. Yeah. So I was just now that that's kind of a well adopted thing where like
Yeah.
video components are there, it really opens the door to a value proposition for small businesses and people
Yes,
to come in.
absolutely.
And what we're seeing now and probably continuing to ramp up. We just had a call last week with another another business looking to come in here and do this on a regular basis.
They'll be here Wednesday.
Okay. Yep.
And then I also just as the year was winding down, it was like, truth be told, and kudos to you, you actually got me to start looking at stuff. Like, I don't know what the numbers are. And it was like, I don't know. And who is the best client, or who is the one that's actually doing stuff? Because we go to places and ostensibly something like Real Producers, well, everybody in the room they're only there because of production. I mean, they're all wonderful humans, but I mean, you don't make the list. It's a binary. You either made the cut or you didn't. So that's one of the things that I never really think about. And so I started doing that, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I have this, and why not do this sort of win-win where it's like, okay, and find out, because like the dude that came in for the first round, never met the guy before in my life. And, he's one of the top 20 clients or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's crazy. And that's cool, from the content standpoint of like, how the hell did I get here? Where somebody that has used us all year long, I've never even been in the room with. And I'm having Rebecca do the calls. And it's like, everybody's excited. And it's like, okay, well, shit, I wish I'd have thought of that earlier.
Nice.
But he came in, and then, we wrap it up with,
So you're doing a Real Producers interview, like essentially
it's
hey,
actually just for us. It's like Studio USA.
Okay.
It's like, hey, whoever our top 25 was for last year, invite him in.
Okay.
And so it's obviously it's a work in progress. So I didn't really know. And for the ones that I know, okay, well, I already know them. So that's an easy enough, cake to bake. But for the ones that I don't know, it's like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And to get their little origin story and everything. And so like the cat that came in is Dylan Dobbs, and he's a golf community guy.
Okay.
And golf carts. So like, oh yeah, like dude, Tanner could go down the rabbit hole of golf carts and their
Yeah, I mean, we
pluses and
just
minuses.
bought a golf cart. Yeah, I
And
need to connect him with my
Yes.
golf cart guy because I know they're looking for partnerships in.
Well,
in
it
the
was
real
just
real
cool to
estate
be
space.
to take it all back to the democratization of content creation, where okay, well now we can have 4K cameras in here that are less than $1,000 a piece, and all of this stuff lowers the bar of entry as far as being able to do it. And then if you can actually do it and stick with it, well then you're golden.
Yeah.
Because that's the real killer is people want to, and they might come in, kick the tires, which is what the subject matter expert thing
Yeah.
actually serves. It's like, well, do you have gas in the tank to do this every week? Or do you even like it? Or are you trying to do this because of what you imagine people will say when they find out that you do it? Which isn't really a sustainable drive, you know what I mean? But I love it, and I can sit here and blather, but I think this is probably 110 or 11 weeks in a row that we've done something, which it doesn't feel like that, and it gets way easier, and like now I don't even consider the fact that we're live.
It's
like, whatever.
Okay, whatever. I just think it's interesting because now where the podcast used to be this kind of, for me, and just anecdotally, like used to be this, I would consume it in this kind of long form narrative, driving in the car sort of thing. We're able to repurpose that as the usefulness of it is shifted,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
And where this video components come in, and now we see, like the Joe Rogans, and like that people are used to consuming bite size.
TikTokification.
Exactly. So taking those same principles, we can sit down people here and do a lot of that, where a lot of stuff you see on my Facebook page isn't this 30-minute chat,
no. Yeah,
right? Like who's going to sit here and listen to me blabber on for 30 minutes? But every once in a while I'll say something
Yes.
that might be insightful.
I'm
Somebody
always
else might want to
surprised
hear.
at what actually gets traction because so what I have the VAs, so like the YouTube channel for the studio is posting shit every day. Like there's reels and stories and stuff, everyday shorts on YouTube.
Yep.
And this very minute I have no idea what's up there, what the interaction level is or whatever. It's like I taught them, and then AI helps them to kind of craft the voice. And this is all stuff that I'll dial in more this year. But the same thing with TikTok. I think we have like 12,000 followers on TikTok, and I have no idea what's on there. I've logged in probably 3 times last year just to make sure I had access, and also to be like, I don't know, what are we posting? And now a lot of it is just the same but different, like change the copy or change the verbiage is based on platform. But that's how you start.
Yeah, well, we just want to expose people to like what happens here, right? And what that final product looks like. So we get the phone call saying like, hey, like how does this work, right? And just like we did last week, we sit down and it's like, hey, I see you guys doing stuff. How does this work?
Right,
and,
and then like the guys that we did the call with,
sense or not.
Where they have a back catalog of everything that they've been doing. And, everybody does it in fits and starts or whatever. And it's like, okay, they're a roofing company, so they have guys that have drones, etc. It's like, okay, let's send us what you already have and let's formulate that. And then we can build something new based on what's already existing. So you get a little bit of ROI for what you already paid for. And then moving forward, you can essentially send out the troops with marching orders on like, shoot this, this, and this every time, whether you use it or you don't.
Yeah.
But like within 3 months, you're going to have a shitload of raw material.
Yep.
And then everything else downstream becomes way easier. And I love, thank you, baby Jesus, for Teresa to come in essentially the day I met her, 15 months ago to talk about the podcast. It was fully formed. She and Colette had absolutely totally calcified it into, this is the thing, this is the message, this is the color palette, this is the brand kit, etc., which is perfect. Now, is that ever going to happen again? Probably not. That where somebody just comes in where everything is just, and it's like one of those things where they're like, I don't know, I got this. It's like where they lay down the full house. And you're like, yeah, that's a pretty good hand.
Nailed it.
But like there, I end up learning all of the things that I would have known conceptually in the abstract. It's like, well, how do you get something onto iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or whatever? And how do you marry the audio and the video? And then how do you divorce them and put them out separately? And so the audio really only lives in, Buzzsprout? And that basically promulgates it to all the different platforms. Then I have the audio matched to the video and then various and sundry things that we do with that. So like her solo stuff, we just carve that up, boom, boom, boom. The long form interviews where she actually is sitting down for 45 minutes to an hour, we'll shoot that 3 cameras, and then I'll have that edited where it looks like a live broadcast, but it's, to be honest, it's too perfect for a live broadcast because as good as Austin is,
and the live switch is just a little delayed.
The live switching is it can be like in Austin's top shelf, but if you've got all 3 files and you can literally rewind, because like live is live. There's no going back to like, oh, I should have cut it where he said that thing. But if you have all the files there and you're literally having them in the timeline, okay, well then that gives her long form content, because she's not going live, it's way more polished and it's in 4K because we're handcuffed to
1080.
Yeah, the 1080 in the live stream, which is still high def by anybody's any stretch, and it still will look kick ass on a phone. But like there, where you walked in this morning,
it's on a 70-inch TV. And it looks like super crisp.
Teresa's there, like a billboard. And it's like, oh shit, that actually looks really good. And that makes me feel good because it's like, okay, this is the finished product in an environment where, well, I'm trying to show it off. You know what I mean? The idea is, and the whole thing behind this visually when you walk in here, if everything's turned on, it's supposed to like punch you in the face and make you think like, whoa.
And it does with like when you got the psych wall and the podcast
and
studio
everything going,
and all the screens going.
All the screens
are
up. There's what, 2, 4, 5, 8. There's 10. There's 10 big screens or 10 screens and a handful of giant ones that are actually all tied in together. And so it gives an and it's not a big, it used to be a barbershop. So it's not like, oh, you come in and turn the corner and and it's like, no, you come in and if everything's going, it's it's showtime.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I'm excited for 2026 because so many things that have been at different levels of completion or connection are all kind of coming around the barn at the
Yeah.
same time. And so we'll have Anne in on Friday. We're going to start the iFinder show, which is it'll be another one, same but different from Teresa. So she won't be going live. It'll be not scripted per se, but certainly a guided directional idea versus just going live and winging it, which is what I like because it just keeps it interesting. So what do you? Okay, so what? So this was not the Be Local Plano show.
Yeah, not this. We were just a little shorthanded to actually to pull
Yes.
the Be Local thing together, but that's totally fine because we can just sit down and riff on,
Oh, yeah,
on
my God,
what's going
I
on.
love this.
Well, I mean, locally, so Kat and I went
to the theater.
We went to the theater.
Yes, I saw that.
Which is juxtaposed to the fact that we did 3 Broadway shows
Yes.
the week before.
Okay, so
this
what
is
is-
like local. This
Yeah.
is local theater. It was a packed house. So this is the company's the production company that puts it on is called Rover Drama Works. It's a 501c3.
Nice.
Funded
Okay.
by
Yes.
some local trusts and even funding from I think the arts department in the city of Plano.
Okay.
They perform this was in the Cox Theater, which is like East Plano off of like Park, kind of near Ye Old Butcher Shop. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So, packed house. Probably. I mean, it doesn't seat more than probably 85
Yeah, like
people.
under-
like
like
100 people. Yeah. Let's see. The story was fantastic. It doesn't have the pageantry of
It's-
of the Broadway show.
Yeah, it
right?
doesn't have
But
the practical effects and all that.
Yeah, but it still keeps you in the story. The sets are fairly simple by comparison, but the story's fantastic and the actors are great. We laughed pretty much the whole time. It was just a funny
Right on,
show.
dude, that's kick-ass.
Yeah, if you're interested in theater or supporting the arts or just seeing what's going on with like your local people, I mean, these are all local folks,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. It's theater kids growing
they're
up.
doing this is their part-time
Yes.
thing. They're not doing this all
Yeah,
all
no
the time.
different than like going to Reunion Arena back in the day and you see Aerosmith or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you go to a band at the basement or on the rocks or whatever, and it's like the shrunk down local version.
Yeah,
of that.
and there's it's very charming in that sense. It's actually a good
I love
production. It was
So,
really
like,
great.
I need to go to that. So I love Theater 2 and Theater 3, or Theater 3 and Theater 2 down at the Quadrangle. Then there's the Firehouse Theater in Carrollton, which is another one that's a charity. And then Water Tower Theater in Addison.
There's one in Richardson too that
Yes,
that production
on,
company because
Coit,
I
on
was
Coit.
I was sitting there talking with a bunch of the folks that come to these a lot. And they're like,
Yes.
oh yeah, we've got season tickets to this and in Allen and in Richardson.
Oh, I didn't know
and
about the one in Allen.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
cool.
And today national championships today, but I think I'm going to the Allen Americans where they play at that event
Oh,
center.
yeah. The hockey team.
Yes, the hockey team. The All-Star game is being hosted there. So I was at a ribbon cutting for a McDonald's last month, and so let me.
That's
let me
ornate for
break.
for
So I said this on the show with Ashley, I think a week or two ago, where I was basically like, yeah, now that we're doing this Be Local thing, I don't get to go to Whataburger anymore. And I was wrong when I said that because I knew when I said it, like, that's not really what I meant, because a lot of these like big brands have a very local presence behind them. Like,
like whenever you go to a Whataburger in Saxe, it feels like, oh, I'm in Saxe.
Yeah, and some establishments do a better job of like bringing in the community, but I just from when it comes to ownership, like the O'Reilly family owns that McDonald's right there at oh goodness, it's at 121 and like Custer, Coit. It's just opening up somewhere between there. But they own, this is their 25th franchise,
Bro.
and they've been a member of the Plano Chamber of Commerce for over 40 years. They've been putting these
Wow,
things in
okay,
North Texas,
yeah.
investing in the community, giving back philanthropically. So sometimes when we see these like big brands come in and we're like, oh, where's our weeding out the local flavor. Like these are local people supporting
Yes.
that have their own way to support the local community. But they've chose to partner with these, a big box
And then
brand,
there's
and
like
that's
Golden
fine.
Burger that's been in Plano since I know for at least 30 years.
Yeah, so I'm not at all protesting any of these big brands. And I feel like I misspoke. Probably nobody caught it, but like I didn't mean to say like we're
the
anti-Walmart
Whataburger
or
evangelists
something.
are going to come after you. Although I think didn't Walmart get bought or Whataburger get bought by some out of
I don't
state
know. That would make sense.
conglomerate.
Whataburger isn't like my end all be all favorite. I
No.
know that's probably blasphemy.
If I had to
in
go
a lot
through
of
a drive-through,
places.
I'm going to Whataburger.
Okay,
But I probably still won't.
yeah, I was saying I probably still won't. I don't know. I don't really have a good like fast food place. I'll probably end up with a sandwich. I'll probably end up with like a Jersey Mike's or Jimmy
there you
John's
go.
if I'm going to do a big brand chain.
If I do a
thing
drive-through,
like
I'm probably
that.
going to go to Jack in the Box and get something breakfast oriented.
Okay.
Because
We'll
they
do-
actually use real eggs.
Kat and I either do Jack in the Box like late night, like after we go see a
Oh,
place,
yeah.
like with Jack in the Box or Taco Bell. She's a sucker for like Taco Bell. She's like, I want a quesadilla. and she'll go like old school with like, she'll
Yeah.
go a quesadilla and a Mexican pizza.
Right
She's like,
on.
give me quesadilla and Mexican pizza at Taco Bell. Like that's
God,
her
I can remember
midnight
in the
snack.
80s, one of the original Taco Bells, like the little tiny thing over in like Bedford or Hearst.
Okay.
No drive-through, no nothing. It's like you had to go in
Okay.
and I don't know, maybe like 6 or 8 tables, and they had like 5 things.
Really?
Yeah.
There's only 5 ingredients anyway.
Yeah.
They just slowly expanded the menu, being like,
and
well,
now
what if
you
we
go in there
fry it and
looks like
then
Star
grill
Wars,
it?
you know? And it's like, whoa, it's the and there's just a million things. But I haven't eaten a Taco Bell in a million years, but I love it.
Oh yeah, we'll do it. It's a guilty pleasure of ours.
And then, of course, back in the days before I got sober, there would always be the random middle of the night Jack in the Box receipt you would find the next day. And it's like, why'd I spend $31 at Jack in the Box?
And you can spend $31.
Oh my
Jack
God,
Box
in a
is-
heartbeat.
Yeah.
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 Hell
Fast food
yeah.
is it's now it's not like cheap fast. It's the convenience. They realize that
Right.
like we will pay whatever we want, whatever they
buying
want to
time.
charge for the convenience of it. And it used to be like, oh, rip and run, super smart dollar menu, all this
Yep.
stuff. And they're like, wait a second, we could charge $5 for that, and you're still gonna buy that burger.
Yep.
Here we are.
I do like the trend on social media where they're like, how did I just spend $23 and I got, 2 hamburgers and there was one about filet of fish. And it was just like this lady was losing her mind because it was like $17 for 2 filet of fish. And
I also lose my mind on that. So like I did that to Kat. Like we pull up and I was like, I'd explain the dollar menu to my wife, like 10 years my junior, right? So
Oh,
like she
that's
didn't
awesome.
have
Yeah.
like that the dollar menu was the thing, like high school.
Okay,
like,
then now for the UNT faithful out there from the mid '80s, it was it Taco Casa that was directly across from Kerr Hall in Denton. You would get a box of tacos. They were either 19 cents or 29 cents each, and it would be like a box of 10 tacos. And it was like literally if you took and like when a bartender just does shots down the road. And
So you just like put up the shelves and you just like meat,
Yeah.
cheese, whatever, and then like hand
and
you
like
the
we
tacos.
get those in the middle of the night, just drunker than Cooter Brown, and they were awesome, but they were almost free. 29-cent tacos.
Yep. We had Gumby's Pizza in Austin, right outside my dorm, had like quarter pizza rolls or
Yep,
whatever.
there you
and like
go.
it's like that just doesn't. You don't have that anymore. Quarter beer night.
Oh yeah, oh my
type of
God!
Places,
The late '80s, early '90s on Greenville Avenue used to be any coin night, or there would be free. There was Paparama, Tijuana Yacht Club, and 2 or 3 others that had like a 2-hour happy hour window where you'd get like the little 10-ounce or 8-ounce plastic cups of well drinks for free.
Okay.
Yes.
So quarter beer night's probably the cheapest that I've ever seen. Any coin night, quarter beer night in. I was living in North Carolina. We were at UNC Chapel Hill, and there was a bar on Franklin Street that had like this dingy basement, and they would play like flip cup and beer pong. So it was quarter beer night, but they just like fill up pitchers for you.
I love
to
it.
do the whole
Oh, my
thing. And
God.
in Austin, it was Cain and Abel's right there on like Guadalupe not Guadalupe, like 24th and Rio Grande. I hope it's still there. They did dollar beer night
and
in
all those-
buckets. You had to buy a bucket of 5 beers, but any domestic beer,
Nice.
so it's $5 buckets of 5 beers. And
That's how
like,
it
that
should be
was-
done.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't work anymore in today's economy.
Yeah,
but,
and in the days of the heavy metal bars in Dallas, I used to live in 89, 90. I lived at Park Lane in Greenville, and the basement was the place where Pantera got famous. But they would have free beer from 7 to 11, 4 or 5 nights a week.
just free beer.
Yeah,
It's like,
it was
we'll
like
feed you.
$5 to get in, drink from 7 to 11, just get polluted. So I probably picked up most of my future bad habits in that environment.
In the
I'm
basement.
I'm like 21 or 22.
Yeah.
I moved to Dallas when I'm 21 from the hinterlands of Keller and mid cities, and it was just full throttle.
Yeah.
And
maybe it still is. We're talking to 2 people that no longer drink.
Oh, yeah,
like it's
yeah.
not,
I've been sober for 21 years, so it's
we
like,
don't
yeah.
have,
But,
we don't
oh,
have the
man.
frame of reference in the past decade or so.
I do remember setting out to do extensive liver damage intentionally and achieving it.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to end with that, man?
Yes, sir. Let's go be
All right.
healthy.
Have a good week.